This is an awesome feature. I can use my smartphone as a remote monitor and control for that Sony Alpha 7S III. However, this feature relies on the camera's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi functions, which have been bricked since firmware version 3.00 on this camera body. Today, when I turned on that Sony Alpha 7S III, it gave me a notification that firmware version 5.00 is now available. The last time I came on here and ranted about how the new firmware bricks the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi functions on older camera bodies, I also shared that my older camera body worked with the monitor and control app for about a half an hour or so after installing firmware version 4.00. So today, let's find out what happens when I install this firmware version 5.00 on this 2021 Sony Alpha 7S III camera body. I looked through the list of benefits and improvements that Sony shows under this firmware update. The only thing it says that I think might hint to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi being fixed is, quote, improves the operational stability of the camera. Unfortunately, however, almost every prior firmware update includes this same line in the list of benefits and improvements. The firmware file is a whopping 705 megabytes. This gave me a bit of hope at first until I realized that's almost exactly the same size as version 4.00 and very similar to the exe files that came before the .dat files. So we just have to update it and find out. Well, as you saw, the results were actually less exciting than updating to 4.00. The Bluetooth still doesn't work, which likely means the Wi-Fi doesn't work. I guess I'll verify that the Wi-Fi also doesn't work real quick. I turned on Wi-Fi Connect. All right. It appears Wi-Fi doesn't work either, and the camera needs both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to use the monitor and control app. So perhaps some things are a little bit better with version 5.00, but it looks like for now, for people with the older camera bodies that were built around 2020, 2021, maybe some of the 2022 ones, I don't know. Sony doesn't have any type of warning anywhere that I can find helping you figure out whether or not your camera can handle the newer firmware. So I don't know what year to tell you you're safe to update. I do not know. It might be 2023. It might be 2022. I don't know. But this camera is still a airplane mode camera. And my only option to improve that is to get the motherboard replaced, which is over $1,000. So if I remember right, it was like $800 for the part, or $820 or something like that. You know what? I can actually bring it up. Hey, kitty. $800 for the main motherboard and $240 in labor. Takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the part. So they have to get the part, I have to mail it to them, they have to mail it back. So it's $1,040, not including shipping. I'm gonna live with only having one camera that can do this feature, and this is gonna stay the camera that I'm willing to use to look directly at a welding arc. You know, things like that. This will be my beater camera, even though it's a $3,500 camera. That's ridiculous. Well, sorry this video was so disappointing, and thank you for watching. You're so cute. I looked through the list of benefits and improvements that Sony. For about half an hour or so after I installed firmware version 4.0. Yeah, you're right. They're both 0, 0. Stupid idiot, Derek. Psych, it's just bricked now. No, it's doing something. I see the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to step into the red light. What is this song that says you don't have to do something about the red light? Come on.